Welcome to WTDC-25, the World Telecommunication Development Conference being held here in Baku in Azerbaijan. I've got the great pleasure of being joined in the studio today by Isabelle Mauro, who is the Director General of the Global Satellite Operators Association, GSOA. Isabelle, welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much, Max. And maybe just, as you introduced us, we just rebranded this week.
Okay.
And so we are now just going by GSOA.
Just GSOA,
because we represent a full ecosystem of the industry, which is not just operators, but also launchers, ground segment, and manufacturers. So this is our new identity.
Okay, excellent. Well, welcome to your new ID.
Thank
you. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about WTDC-25. The theme here this time around is universal, meaningful and affordable connectivity for an inclusive and sustainable digital future. Why do you think WTDC-25 is important, in particular for socio-economic development?
Well, I think because, the conference, if you want, really sets the priorities to the expanding digital connectivity around the world. It's also renewing its commitment to universal connectivity. And so for us, this is really important because, as we all know, figures are decreasing, but we still have 2.2 billion people around the world that are not connected. And satellites have a critical role to play in helping bridge that digital gap everywhere, but in particular in areas that are remote, that are underserved, that are rural. So for us to be able to contribute actively to the agenda, helping setting the priorities, contributing to resolutions, to declarations, being part of the process is really critical because we can then contribute on how our industry can help achieve this common vision, this common goal, these common objectives, that we have. And that is truly empowering entire societies, entire communities that otherwise could not be connected, where it's maybe not viable for mobile or wireless networks to be, or geographically challenged areas. So this is really a critical moment for us to be part of that process.
Now, we've had many interviewees here in the studio from all countries around the world praising satellite communications and the benefits of it. I know that GSOA recently published a paper promoting synergy among communication services. Perhaps you could let us into a little bit more information about that.
Yes, I think we've been seeing, particularly, I guess, in the last couple of years, intensifying in the last year, the integration of networks, terrestrial, non-terrestrial, D2D. There is a lot of talk about these new, services. Mm-hmm. And for us, this paper really reinforces our belief that connectivity is not a choice between terrestrial or non-terrestrial. It's really more about embracing new models of cooperation, new partnerships, but also having regulatory policy frameworks that are more agile, that are more future-proof. And so the paper really, sort of reinforces all of this. And it's also about exposing the strengths of some technologies and the advantages. Each technology is unique. Each has something to offer and it's, capitalizing, leveraging the strength of each of these technologies. But what we see as well with our cooperation with other partners, we partnered with the GSMA, for instance, mm-hmm. to accelerate end-to-end integration. It's really also to see how you are going to look at policy, because of course every regulator now is looking at the boom of satellites. If you want, how do we regulate? How do we accommodate to the new ecosystem, if you want? And so for us, it's really important that technology neutrality is looked at when regulators put in place policies. And by that we mean that whether it's wireless, wireline, or satellite, we should look at all technologies with equal means to, provide connectivity. But at the same time, that doesn't mean you have to regulate these technologies in the same ways, because the underlying infrastructure, the underlying business model is very different. The fact as well that, for instance, if you look at mobile, they all deliver to the end user directly. Satellite has very different business models, B2C, B2B, B2B2C. So this is really the fundamental of the paper. It's, yes, we may be delivering the same services, but we deliver them in a way that is different. And so, how can we look at this in a way that is going to incentivize investment, innovation, in all our technologies.
Now, you're no stranger to ITU events. I know that we've met in the studio many times, and ITU initiatives as well. I wanted to ask you, what are the benefits for GSOA in being involved with ITU?
Well, I think it's a little bit what we were saying at the beginning. I mentioned for WTDC, but for us it's exactly the same for WRC. So it's really being part of the process. And I think today you can no longer do policy without having at the table all the stakeholders that are going to be delivering, on this commitment of connectivity. So being here, being part of the ITU, it's being able to have a continuous dialogue, not only with the ITU, but also with ministries, with regulators, and being able to bring all these communities together and being an essential contributor to shaping these policies.
Isabelle Mauro, Director General of GSOA, thank you so much for joining us in the studio today. Look forward to catching up with you again very soon, I'm sure.
Thank you. Thank you, Max. Thank you.
And if you've enjoyed this interview, please check out our other interviews on our YouTube channel, our podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from. And for further information, visit our website at www.itu.int/WTDC-25. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
That's great.